Let's kick things off with In-nan. He's Joseon's most legendary and feared assassin, a guy whose mere name straight up strikes terror into his targets. During a brutal contract, he effortlessly slaughters a room full of armed guards without even breaking a sweat. But right after mercilessly executing his pleading target, In-nan suddenly clutches his chest in agonizing pain. Turns out, it's serious. A secret underground physician delivers a grim diagnosis. In-nan's blood channels are blocked, causing severe tachycardia. The doc warns him that if he keeps using his intense martial arts or sleeping with women, his heart will literally explode. He's given a pouch of medicine to manage the symptoms, meaning his days of high-octane killing are officially numbered. Of course, ignoring the doctor's advice, In-nan spends the night with a beautiful woman, only to wake up to a deadly surprise. The woman reveals herself to be a rival assassin sent to collect a massive bounty on his head. In-nan manages to blind her with a needle and survive, but the reality sets in. His own people are now hunting him. So, with his weakness exposed and a massive target on his back, the legendary killer has no choice but to go into hiding. Fast forward 1 year later, In-nan is living as a ragged, disheveled beggar near the remote northern Mount Jangrim. His heart condition has deteriorated so much that he low-key collapses just from watching local children play. Wandering into a nearby village, he spots a tavern owner named Seon being harassed by a gang of corrupt local thugs. In-nan steps in to help, but the second a thug grabs him, his heart rate spikes dangerously. Unable to fight back without triggering a fatal heart attack, he tries to bribe them to leave her alone instead. The thugs just laugh and beat the former master assassin into the dirt while Seon watches in pity. Feeling sorry for the pathetic drifter, Seon takes him into her tavern and feeds him a hot meal. She scolds him for getting involved when he clearly can't fight. Completely unaware she's talking to the country's deadliest killer. With no money to pay for the food, In-nan starts cleaning tables to work off his debt. He even tries to chop firewood, but his weakened body struggles with the simple physical labor. Seeing he has nowhere to go, Seon reluctantly allows him to sleep in a spare shed for the night. When In-nan promises not to try anything funny, she quickly pulls a massive kitchen knife to prove she can handle herself. Later that evening, In-nan bonds with a young orphan boy named Chilbok, who happens to be obsessed with stories about heroic assassins. Chilbok excitedly claims he wants to be a killer when he grows up, prompting In-nan to warn him about the dark reality of that life. When Chilbok says assassins don't ask why they kill, it triggers In-nan's traumatic memories of the innocent lives he's taken. The next day, In-nan visits an old herb gatherer who has been secretly holding on to his assassin's sword. In-nan asks the old man to find him a rare medicinal herb to help treat his failing heart. The problem is, the gatherer explains he can't forage deep in the mountains anymore because a vicious group of bandits has taken over the area. He also warns In-nan to keep his head down, since those rival assassins from earlier are still scouring the country looking for him. Hoping to lay low, In-nan returns to Seon's tavern and begs her to hire him as a permanent helper. She's hesitant because of his gloomy face. So, Chilbok tries to teach the stone-cold killer how to smile for customers. His attempts at looking friendly are honestly terrifying, but Seon eventually agrees to let him stay. The once great warrior is soon reduced to awkwardly chasing chickens around the yard to earn his keep. Meanwhile, over at a heavily guarded provincial prison, a mysterious figure slinks through the shadows in the dead of night. The intruder swiftly assassinates the guards and frees a dangerous criminal from his cell. The next morning, the local magistrate just beats the absolute hell out of his remaining guards for letting the prisoner escape. He reads a dispatch revealing the escapee is Beggar, a notorious bandit leader who is now heading toward Mount Jangrim. The corrupt magistrate orders his men to lock down all the roads and capture the bandit at any cost. Back with our duo, guards at a newly erected checkpoint stop In-nan and Chilbok as they try to cross a bridge. In-nan realizes he doesn't have an identification tag, which is highly suspicious under the new martial law. Fortunately, the guard recognizes Chilbok and lets them pass with a strict warning to get In-nan a proper ID. That night, the stress of the day catches up to In-nan and he collapses with a severe fever. Despite her tough exterior, Seon stays by his side and gently nurses him through the worst of his illness. She mutters about how pathetic he is, but it's clear she's starting to care for the mysterious drifter. In his feverish state, In-nan reaches out and holds Chilbok's hand, finding a moment of genuine comfort. Back at the magistrate's compound, a highly skilled young swordsman slips past the heightened security. The assassin wakes the magistrate with a blade to his throat, delivering a chilling message from a powerful client. He orders the magistrate to let the escaped bandit Beggar return safely to his family without interference. The swordsman promises that if the magistrate tries to capture or kill the bandit, he will return to slaughter everyone in the compound. The next morning, a pretty young woman named Songva arrives at the compound while the guards wonder why their boss is hiding. Inside, the terrified magistrate realizes he has to choose between doing his job and keeping his head attached to his neck. He quietly instructs his confused captain to only pretend to search for the bandit, ensuring the criminal goes free. To pull this off, the corrupt clerk Kim Ja-hong has a slick plan to help the notorious bandit escape the mountain crackdown. He convinces the cowardly magistrate to declare a fake state of emergency to draw the local guards away. Since the magistrate is completely terrified of the bandits, he eagerly agrees to the cowardly plan to save his own skin. By intentionally leaving one checkpoint completely unmanned, they create a perfect invisible escape route for the criminals. The bandit and his crew casually stroll right through the gap, laughing at how incredibly easy it was to slip away. With the guards totally cleared out, the criminals don't even have to draw their swords to secure their freedom. Meanwhile, In-nan is busy keeping his head down, quietly scrubbing tables at Senhong's rural tavern. But trouble finds him when that same escaped bandit waltzes into the courtyard and loudly demands a hot meal. He throws his weight around the quiet establishment, acting like he completely owns the place while demanding top-tier service. The thug greedily devours their food while mocking the terrified tavern owner and her young lord, Chilbok. Things take a dark turn when the bandit gives the boy a piece of meat and makes a sick joke about his family. Chilbok instantly recognizes the man's face and screams out that this is the exact thug who murdered his father. Fueled by sudden reckless rage, the little orphan grabs a nearby knife and lunges directly at his father's killer. The battle-hardened bandit easily overpowers the kid, throwing him to the dirt and raising his heavy blade to finish the job. That's when In-nan finally drops the harmless beggar act to protect the boy he's grown to care for. Moving faster than the eye can track, the former assassin steps in and effortlessly blocks the lethal strike. With zero hesitation, In-nan disarms the massive thug and casually snaps his neck like Superman in Man of Steel. The dead criminal drops heavily to the floor, leaving Seonhong and Chilbok staring at their humble servant in absolute shock. Realizing they are now accessories to murder, the panicked trio is forced to drag the heavy corpse outside into the woods. They spend the rest of the night frantically digging a hidden grave to bury the body out back where no one will find it. In-nan makes sure the grave is completely concealed, hoping this single moment of violence won't ruin his peaceful new life. The next day, the corrupt clerk Kim Ja-hong starts getting nervous when his bandit buddy never shows up at the designated rendezvous point. He prints up wanted posters, hoping someone in the village has seen the missing criminal passing through. He sends his enforcers to aggressively question the locals, completely unaware that the man is already rotting in the ground. But secrets don't stay buried for long, and the gang eventually spots freshly turned earth right behind the quiet tavern. The enforcers grab their shovels and start digging, quickly uncovering the horrific truth of what actually happened to their missing friend. When his men dig up the bloody corpse, Kim Ja-hong realizes exactly who is responsible for the brutal kill. The vicious clerk marches his entire crew straight to the tavern, completely surrounding the terrified trio in the courtyard. San-hong tries to play dumb, but the furious criminals aren't buying her innocent act for a single second. Kim Ja-hong demands to know exactly how a simple beggar managed to kill one of his absolute toughest enforcers. To force a confession out of them, he draws his sword and threatens to chop off Chilbok's legs right there. Backed into a corner, In-nan steps forward and offers a highly dangerous compromise to save the innocent boy's life. He volunteers to march alone up the mountain and personally assassinate the dead man's brother, the ruthless bandit chief, Beggar. That young swordsman from the magistrate's compound steps up, eager to test his skills against the man who claims he can take down a whole camp. Amused by the beggar's insane confidence, Kim Ja-hong calls off his guard and decides to reveal exactly who is pulling the strings. He explains that taking out Beggar will remove the last obstacle standing between him and total domination of the province. The corrupt clerk gladly accepts In-nan's deadly deal, sending the mysterious beggar off to do his dirty work for free. Armed with a stolen map to the hidden fortress, In-nan hikes deep into the dense bamboo forest toward Beggar's stronghold. He approaches the massive wooden gates of the bandit camp, ready to make good on his lethal promise to the clerk. Slipping past the outer defenses like a completely invisible ghost, he moves totally unnoticed by the distracted and lazy guards. He navigates the complex layout of the fortress with practiced ease, proving exactly why he was once Joseon's deadliest killer. Inside the luxurious main chamber, the bald bandit leader, Beggar, is busy enjoying a pipe of opium, surrounded by women. The crime lord is so completely out of his mind on the drugs that he barely registers the dark intruder stepping into the room. In-nan effortlessly neutralizes the remaining guards in the hallway before Beggar even realizes his fortress is actually under attack. With his blade drawn, the assassin corners the terrified bandit chief and prepares to deliver a final, brutal warning. He leaves the crime lord alive but absolutely paralyzed with fear, effectively neutralizing the mountain gang's threat without a massive massacre. Beggar is left shaking on the floor, knowing that if he ever crosses the beggar again, it will be his last mistake. Having fulfilled his end of the bargain, In-nan turns his back on the ruined criminal empire and quietly walks away. But the intense physical exertion of the dangerous mission pushes his failing heart far past its absolute breaking point. The deadly assassin collapses heavily in the middle of the wilderness, completely helpless and desperately gasping for air. Just when it seems like his story is completely over, that same old herb gatherer from earlier stumbles across his unconscious body. The old man quickly assesses the dying warrior's terrible condition and drags him to safety before his heart completely gives out. Thanks to the old man's intervention, In-nan regains enough strength to track down the bandit leader beggar. The two seasoned killers clash in a brutal close-quarters fight inside a ruined cabin. Beggar proves to be a formidable opponent, matching the weakened assassin blow for blow. But In-nan isn't Joseon's deadliest killer for nothing, and he quickly turns the tide of the duel. With a swift, calculated strike, he buries his blade deep into the bandit leader's chest. Beggar collapses, leaving In-nan victorious but completely exhausted as his heart condition flares up again. Dragging himself through a dense bamboo forest, the assassin struggles to keep moving forward. Unfortunately, his path is blocked by Kim Ja-hong and a massive swarm of vengeful bandits. The corrupt clerk has taken control of the gang and wants In-nan dead for killing their former boss. Despite his failing health, In-nan draws his sword, ready to take on the entire mob. He effortlessly cuts through the first wave of attackers, proving his lethal skills are still intact. The slaughter is interrupted by the sudden arrival of the corrupt magistrate and his heavily armed guards. To make matters worse, the magistrate has brought along that highly skilled young swordsman to finish the job. Surrounded and entirely out of breath, In-nan realizes he can't win this fight in his current state. His heart finally gives out, and the legendary assassin collapses into the dirt, completely defenseless. Later that night, In-nan wakes up bound in heavy iron chains in the courtyard of the magistrate's compound. Kim Ja-hong approaches the helpless prisoner, eager to torture the man who caused him so much trouble. The arrogant clerk mocks In-nan's reputation, thinking the great assassin is now nothing more than a broken beggar. But when Kim gets too close, In-nan lunges forward and just rips the dude's throat out with his teeth. The corrupt clerk bleeds out in seconds, learning the hard way that a cornered tiger is still deadly. Annoyed by the mess, the young swordsman steps up, drawing his blade to execute the prisoner himself. The cocky warrior promises to end In-nan's life quickly, underestimating the bound assassin's sheer willpower. The swordsman winds up for a lethal strike, aiming right for In-nan's exposed neck. In a flash of movement, In-nan dodges the blade and uses his chains to trip his attacker. He snatches a dropped sword and drives it straight through the young warrior's chest, killing him instantly. Escaping into the night, In-nan collapses on a dirt road where he's found by Seonhwa. The brave tavern owner drags the unconscious assassin back to her home, hiding him from the magistrate's patrols. When In-nan wakes up, Seonhwa presents him with a heavy jar filled with her entire life savings. She begs the assassin to take the money and wipe out the corrupt officials who ruined their village. Moved by her desperation and bravery, In-nan accepts the coins, officially taking the contract. Meanwhile, the magistrate is furious to find his prized swordsman dead and his prisoner missing. He orders the deadly female assassin and her elite clan to hunt down the escaped killer immediately. But before they can leave, the compound is swarmed by an angry mob of heavily armed bandits. The outlaws are demanding a massive payout, threatening to burn the place to the ground if they're ignored. The magistrate calmly watches the chaos unfold from his porch, completely unfazed by the screaming mob. He simply signals the female assassin, unleashing her hidden clan upon the unsuspecting bandits. The courtyard instantly turns into a bloodbath as the highly trained killers drop from the rooftops like Batman in Arkham City. The bandits are completely outmatched, sliced to pieces before they can even swing their crude weapons. Within minutes, the entire gang is wiped out, leaving the courtyard littered with dozens of bodies. The magistrate laughs at the carnage, completely unaware that his real problem has just arrived at the front gate. In-nan steps over the dead bandits, his sword drawn and his eyes locked on his targets. The female assassin immediately commands her remaining clan members to attack the legendary killer. Despite his weakened heart, In-nan moves with terrifying speed, parrying strikes from all directions. He systematically dismantles the elite assassins, turning their own weapons against them in a blur of steel. The magistrate's smug smile vanishes as he watches his unstoppable kill squad get absolutely decimated. In-nan cuts down the last of the underlings, leaving only the female assassin standing in his way. The one-eyed killer draws her blade, ready to test her skills against Joseon's most feared legend. She launches a furious assault, forcing In-nan on the defensive as they trade lightning-fast blows. The clash of their swords echoes through the bloody courtyard, neither fighter willing to back down. The female assassin suddenly creates distance and hurls a throwing knife directly at In-nan's face. In an incredible display of reflexes, the legendary assassin catches the blade in his teeth like Zoro from One Piece, completely unfazed. Seeing her ultimate attack fail, the female assassin realizes she's completely outmatched. Rather than face defeat at his hands, she drops to her knees and just straight up kills herself. Terrified of the unstoppable killer, the magistrate cowers behind his remaining guards and offers them a fortune to fight. But gold means nothing to dead men, and In-nan effortlessly carves through the last line of defense. The cowardly magistrate abandons his men and makes a desperate run for the exit. He bumps into Sanhwa, who finally gets a revenge by burying a kitchen knife deep into his gut. Meanwhile, In-nan is swinging his sword like a madman, coughing up blood as his heart condition pushes him to the brink. He tracks down the corrupt clerk, who begs for mercy before In-nan fulfills his contract with a single brutal strike. By morning, the courtyard is littered with bodies, marking the end of the criminal gang's reign of terror. The magistrate's assistant arrives to find the carnage, but his boss's body is suspiciously missing. Turns out, the villagers didn't kill the magistrate, opting instead to lock the bleeding tyrant in his own dungeon. As for In-nan, his heart finally gives out, and Sanhwa is forced to cart his lifeless body away. She tries everything to save him, but the legendary assassin slips into a coma, hovering between life and death. Unwilling to let things go, the magistrate's assistant tracks down the old herb gatherer to finish the job. The assistant's men breach the coastal hideout, only to find a straw dummy waiting in the bed. That's when In-nan casually strolls up behind them on the beach, looking healthier than ever. We learn that the old herb gatherer miraculously found that rare medicinal root in the mountains and used it to cure In-nan's fatal condition. The assistant demands to know who this unstoppable warrior really is, still clueless about the legend standing before him. With his health fully restored and a fresh bounty on his targets, In-nan draws